What if your electric panel, the dusty metal box you never once thought about, became a revenue stream? Not a small one, a monthly check for one of the most powerful companies in the world. Today, we're breaking down a story out of Inc. magazine that quietly landed last month and deserves a lot more attention than it got. NVIDIA, the company that essentially builds the brain modern AI, has partnered with a California startup called Span to install mini AI data centers on the sides of the residential homes and small businesses. This is not a typo. They want to put the future of AI computing on your house, and they want to pay you for it.
Welcome to MarComTech-niques Podcast, a podcast about marketing communications and technology. We help shape future conversations by exploring ideas that shape mindset, management styles, business journeys that influence industries through thought leadership. I'm your host, Jacqueline Cremona.
Today, we're going to unpack why this is happening right now, what it means for every level of the economy, from the homeowner trying to cut the electricity bill to the CEO thinking about infrastructure strategy, and whether this is the beginning of something genuinely historic or another tech promise that quietly disappears. To understand this story, you need to understand the crisis nobody's talking about loudly enough. AI is hungry, and we don't have enough places to feed it. Every AI inquiry, every image you generate, every answer a model gives you, every recommendation a platform makes requires compute power. That compute lives in data centers, massive, expensive, power-hungry facilities that take years to permit, build, and bring online. Here's the scale of the problem. A single traditional data center uses as much electricity as 100,000 households. That's not a metaphor. That's a Pew Research figure. And demand is growing faster than the industry can build. Communities near data centers are pushing back. Water use, heat generation, noise. These aren't hypothetical complaints. They're blocked projects across the country. So the industry has a real constraint: more AI demand, fewer places to build, more community resistance. That's why the partnership is happening 2026 and not 5 years ago. The pressure finally hit a point where a fundamentally different approach became worth pursuing. Here's what's been missing from the AI infrastructure conversation: the people who actually own the land, the panels, the rooftops, and the unused electrical capacity that powers everything else around them. Homeowners have been passive spectators to the AI build-out. Data centers go up near them, sometimes over community objections. Electricity prices rise to feed the grid, and the people sitting on the homes with perfectly good electrical infrastructure get nothing. The conflict is this: AI infrastructure has been a game played by institutions, tech giants, real estate developers, government. The distributed asset class sitting in 85 million American homes has never been invited to the table. And there's an operational problem too. Centralized data centers create single points of failure, geographic concentration risk, and logistic bottlenecks. The tech industry has decentralized almost everything: payments, content distribution, communications, but its own compute infrastructure remains stubbornly centralized. What happens if this problem goes unaddressed? Simple. AI growth hits a physical ceiling. The compute doesn't exist. The buildings can't go up fast enough. But here's what Span changes about that equation. The communities pushing back against traditional data centers don't win. They get bypassed. When the infrastructure moves to residential walls, there's no single facility to oppose, no zoning board, no petition, no community to vote to call. The opposition that organized against one visible, centralized target suddenly has nothing to aim at. And the irony is that the compute may end up in those same neighborhoods anyway. just distributed across thousands of private homes, one box at a time, without anyone ever asking the community's permission. Now they layered on something called an extra unit, a small white box that mounts outside your home next to your HVAC and electrical gear. It's a mini data center node. It absorbs unused electrical capacity from the local grid through Span's smart panel. A network of these nodes equals a small to mid-sized traditional data center. The CEO of Span stated, fundamentally, it is an infrastructure play. We are uniquely positioned to build infrastructure that can help us meet what is clearly an insatiable demand for more compute, much more cost effectively, while benefiting individual consumers. The economics are striking. Span claims it can deploy 8,000 of these units 6 times faster and at 1/5 the cost of building a comparable 100 megawatt centralized data center. Homeowners pay a flat fee for power and Wi-Fi and receive compensation based on Span's energy and network use. The infrastructure scales with existing residential development. Span has already partnered with PulteGroup, one of the nation's largest home builders, to installing these units in newly built communities. The before and after is clear. Before, AI infrastructure is slow, expensive, and community resistant. After, it's distributed, faster to deploy, cheaper to run, and puts money in homeowners' pockets instead of just pulling electricity out of them. The story lands differently depending on where you sit. So let's walk through the trust factor. From the homeowner trying to understand their electric bill all the way to the executive setting infrastructure strategy. For C-suite and founders, primary concerns are risk, reputation, long-term positioning. The company that wins distributed AI infrastructure owns the trust relationship with millions of homeowners. That's not a tech play. That's a positioning play. For operators and directors, their primary concern is execution, system integration. Real estate, energy, and logistics teams need to understand how residential infrastructure becomes a compute layer now. For emerging leaders, primary concern, relevance, career stability. Distributed compute changes who controls AI infrastructure. Professionals who understand this shift early will have an edge. For digital natives, primary concerns, lived experience, inside systems. The AI tools you use daily are powered somewhere. That somewhere is about to be someone's house. Maybe yours. For general public, primary concerns, confusion, clarity control. A box on your wall absorbs spare electricity and pays you monthly. You don't manage it, you just benefit. This story is part of a bigger shift, the decentralization of power, not just electrical power, but economic and infrastructural power. The creator economy gave individuals distribution. Streaming gave individuals a publishing house. Distributed compute may give individuals a stake in the literal backbone of the AI economy. Whether Span and NVIDIA can execute at scale, whether the homeowner compensation model holds up, whether communities embrace this differently than they've embraced traditional data centers, those are open questions. But the story is real, the trigger is real, and the stakes for whoever gets this right first are enormous. If you're a homeowner, watch for Span installation in new communities near you. If you're in real estate or infrastructure, this is your signal to start asking questions. If you're in the C-suite or on a board, this is the kind of move that looks obvious in hindsight, right up until someone else makes it first. And if you're governing an organization that depends on AI infrastructure, the question to bring to your next meeting isn't whether this matters, it's whether you're already behind.
Thank you for joining us on our podcast. Make sure to subscribe, hit the notifications, follow us, like, and leave us a review on your favorite podcast platform.